We be live.
What up? What up? That's just the first one in a series, folks. Just vote on them below in the comments.
All right. So today we are going to continue talking about protests in Iran, right? By the way, guys, this is serious. Secularity. That's his opening. Is you have to vote. Like we can
Please
eventually
tell us.
Let us know.
We'll rotate through a couple more. We'll change it up a little bit. Tell me if too welcoming, maybe not welcoming enough. Just let us know. We appreciate it.
Sounds good. All right, so I'm just gonna go and show you a few more clips about what's happening in Iran about the protest, which apparently I'm not supposed to call it protest anymore. Every time you call it protest, people's like, this is not protest anymore. This is revolution. Okay. So revolution. Okay. I mean, what's the definition of a revolution?
I think you actually have to be formally attempting to take over a government or have taken over a government for it to be called a revolution, right?
Yes, I think you can't tell if that a revolution is a revolution until the revolution is over.
I think that's the best indicator is after the fact you get to go, wow, look how all the people got together and overthrew the government and everything and set up something different. But yeah, in the process, I feel like it's like during World War I, you didn't call it World War I because we hadn't started the second one yet, So yeah, I mean,
so you don't know that you're in a revolution while you're in the revolution. Okay, but people are still telling us to call it a revolution because it's more likely to become a revolution if you see it as a revolution. If you see it as just protest, it might not turn into a revolution, right? Anyways, I showed this on Secular Jihadist yesterday, I think it was, and I want to show it here as well, and I want to show you a couple other things that I didn't show you guys as Secular Jihadists, but this one was so badass that I think it requires showing you again. I didn't know if you saw this video, right? So this is in Iran. This is official from the Ministry of Education visiting the school, who apparently girls are just taking off their hijab like the badasses that they are, right? And this guy came here to do some disciplinary, talking to the girls and tell them to cut it out or something. And this is how the Iranian high school girls, okay? These are children, okay? And again, you have to understand that taking off your hijab in Iran is a crime. And a lot of women in Iran have paid a heavy price for it. And they continue to do so right now, right? As you will see once I go through the story of one of them. And yet these badass girls are taking off their hijab in defiance and kicking out the official from the Ministry of Education. They gang up on him and kick him out of the school. This is so badass. Look at, watch this. Let me know if you have audio.
We got audio. The look on his face.
Wow. So cool. And they cheer at the end, so happy that they managed to kick him out. Also, they're chanting Bisharaf while they're kicking him out, which means without honor or honorless, or another translation might be shame. I think shame would be also a good translation for it, right? Here's another one. This is also pretty good. These teenagers so brave. Amazing. Resist. All right, so watch this one. This is also pretty good. So this one, This one, there's they in this video. So the caption doesn't explain, but I know the explanation for this. Okay, they have a IRGC official, so part of the armed forces, coming to this school for girls to also lecture them about why what they're doing is wrong, why protesting against the Islamic regime is wrong, and everything, right? And this was supposed to, again, be a moment where he comes and puts them in their place, right? And so the caption says by Masih Alinja says, these are the schoolgirls that have been humiliated for a lifetime. They have been brainwashed for years to say death to America. They have been brainwashed to follow Islamic ideology, but now they shout against tyranny, go to hell. Yeah, so they all shout at him, go to hell, while he's trying to give them a lecture about how what they're doing is wrong and everything.
That's incredible.
They're saying Basiji Borogomsho. Basiji is like part of the morality police, right? And they're like, Basiji, get the hell out. Basiji, get the hell out. so
and that guy did not think it was going to go that way, did he?
I don't think so. And look, they have their hijabs off as well. This is like 5 years ago, like when we got, I remember 5 years ago, every time we got a picture of a woman taking off her hijab in Iran, we would be like, "Oh my God, that's so unbelievable, so brave, so unique, so well." And now, like, it's just a sea of women taking off their hijab. Like, this was unimaginable. We used to get like 5 pictures a year of this, of like somebody like taking off their hijab or something like that. Not like an ocean of videos and images. Like, we're getting buried under an avalanche of videos and images coming out like this. Like, it's becoming the norm to take off their hijab. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it puts them in a really weird spot, the regime. And you had highlighted this on Secular Jihadists, where they're talking to people that are pro-regime but are still improperly wearing the hijab, right? They're not actually covered the way that the law says you have to be, but the regime has no choice because there are so many people protesting. There are so many people against or revolutioning. I don't know if I don't know how that word works, but you get what I'm saying. Like it's at a point now where if they really do want to, so let's say they actually enforce this. Let's say all of this ends tomorrow, right? And they actually go about trying to enforce criminalizing these people. You're going to have thousands and thousands of people that you're going to have to get, right? And that's absurd to begin with. But on the flip side, if you don't then do something after, again, assuming like hypothetical, this just all stops tomorrow and they just go out and say, all right, everybody's good. Well, now you just look like a huge hypocrite, right? Now you just look really bad. You look like you've lost control and you've lost power. So it's definitely not a good outcome either way, I think, for the Iranian regime. Now, I'm not losing any sleep over that. I'm bad outcomes for them is probably better outcomes for the world. So
yeah, and also they're losing a lot of soft power very fast internationally. I don't know if people understand the significance of that. That's like, it's an embarrassment for them, and they're finding few allies around the world for supporting them.
You just made me think of something real quick. But before you play this one, so the World Cup is coming up, right? Soon, and that's in Qatar. Do you think we're gonna see any? Like people in the crowd, like sneak in a banner or something and like really highlight what's going on in Iran, or do you think that's going to be so heavily policed? Yeah, it literally just came to my mind when you said that.
I mean, it's not heavily policed. The Qatari government is not going. I don't think they're going to enforce, any laws that forbids people to protest against the Iranian regime. So I don't think you have to sneak that in. I mean, for crying out loud, they're even allowing alcohol now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know they're
yes.
really going for that same like, hey, look at me, I'm great kind of look,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like a couple of other places have. But yeah, I don't know, because I think it puts them in a weird spot either way, right? Because if we see a good bit of that going on throughout the games, let's say,
yeah.
there might be talks from the Iranian government that like, hey, look, we told you all this time, like, watch out for Qatar. They hate us. They're coming after us, But yeah, I definitely will be watching, not just because I love, soccer, but
Yeah. Soccer is a religion in Iran, by the way. I think
yeah.
it's a bigger deal than Islam.
Mhm.
So there's no God on YouTube live chat is asking, what is your thoughts about topless protests? There was one feminist Iranian in, I think, London, that, I don't know, London, somewhere in Europe, that was running these protests against the regime, and she was full nude, I think, and that got a lot of coverage. It's by the pro-regime people, because they were like, look, we were right. They
Mm.
don't, the people who want to take off your hijab, they want to go all the way. Like they say, today is the hijab, tomorrow is going to be your underwear, right? um and that's why a lot of anti what, tell
I'm
me.
sorry. I like the thought of somebody being like, yes, constantly nude all the time, no clothes in public whatsoever. Like, man, I'm sorry. It gets kind of cold around here. I don't know what.
Yeah. No, I mean, so this is like, that's actually a line of reasoning from pro regime
Really?
people. They say like, if we get rid of the hijab, what makes you think that they're going to just stop at the hijab, right?
Wow.
These are people that are going to go all the way, all right? And also the narrative from the pro regime people is that the people, mostly the people who are pushing for this anti-hijab narrative are horny men, that they just want to come for your wives and your sisters and for your daughters, and that's why they have so much interest in removing the hijab, because they're horny. That's the narrative from the regime. That's genuine narrative, right? And they use that feminist coming nude. I mean, it's interesting because, like, they, first of all, I don't actually have any problem with people being nude if they want to. Like,
Yeah,
that's me,
totally.
right?
Yeah, totally.
But if they are so afraid of it, the the comeback to that is like, listen, even most Islamic countries do not mandate the hijab. Most Islam, no, I'm not even saying most countries. Even most Islamic countries don't mandate the hijab, and you're not seeing people going nude there. So your argument is invalid.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, even in places where nudity is allowed,
Yeah.
people are not going nude.
Yeah.
Most
Like,
most people. Yeah.
definitely, I think France has a pretty well-known culture of, being a little bit more open and fluid with these types of things. And yet at the end of the day, I guarantee you a lot of people are wearing clothes in France, like most
Yeah.
of them, most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
D is saying in the live chat, I am not hopeful that anything will change. Look at Myanmar and Hong Kong.
those are all
Honestly,
fantastic.
Iran would be lucky to get to a place where Hong Kong or even Myanmar are right now.
Mhm.
So if that's your measurement, that would be major progress for the situation that we have right now in Iran, right? Also, I do think like having a culture of protest and revolution and rebellion improves things, not in one or two generations, but like over a longer time span, right? Like
Yeah.
if you look at the French Revolution, for example, um, if you were judging the success of it in the few decades after it, it looked disastrous,
Yeah.
right? Like there was a lot of choppings of heads right after the revolution, more misery than before the revolution, and eventually what happened was a dictator, worse than like a bigger dictator, came into power, right? So they
Mhm.
removed the king, and eventually Napoleon came to power. Like they just replaced one dictator with a bigger one, right? So it looked pretty bad. Like the French Revolution's, um, you know, outcome didn't seem promising at all.
Yeah.
But if you zoom out a little bit and look at it over like 100 years or 200 years, it was the best thing that ever happened, not just to France, but to the planet, right? Like the whole world is a better place because of the French Revolution. So I think like if you look at it like that, then the outcome might be a lot better than what you thought. Yeah, genie out of the bottle, exactly. Okay, so what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely, I would say that as with a lot of major overturnings of various governments or just political paradigms or whatever, even go back to a time when the Roman Empire fell, right? What caused that and what that ultimately led to. It takes so long for us to really see the results of that. Like everybody wants to, especially in the United States, a president gets elected on day one, and by like day 4, they're like, look at all the terrible things the president did. And it's like, that's not really how stuff works. It's a much longer period of time. I would say that when you look back at a lot of the revolutions and changes of government and stuff that were really, really massive, the ones that have a quicker track record to providing benefits are the ones that seem to be less bloodshed and less violence and more attempting to be in a democratic style of reorganization at the end. Yeah, I mean that definitely wasn't where the French Revolution went. They did not really care what people were thinking. They just, if you didn't agree with them, you were gonna die. But yeah, I think if this continues with the excitement that it has and stays, because it hasn't been bloodless, right? There has definitely been bloodshed, but that has been done by the Iranian government. That has been done by them killing their citizens in cold blood. And if it stays more peaceful, I think, on the side of the protest, I think that's good, because I think that gives the world a sense that, hey, this is an effort that people really want change. So hopefully it does stay like that, but we don't know, honestly.
Veganeth in the live chat saying, Armin, you never change things by fighting against the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. We already have a new model. It's called a secular democracy, and that's what many of Iranian people want, right? So the model doesn't need to be created. The model already exists, and people have seen that it works, and that's what they want. Okay, so this video, the caption, I haven't actually seen this video. I'm watching it live first time with you guys, right? It says, see how this brave generation stands up to the Khomeini generation. They are courageous and truthful, and they will overcome and expel this regime and Khomeini's generation who flees the truth and promotes fear and chains. So, okay, let's see. So I think like this is a hijabi, like a very hijabi, like a chadari woman. A chadari woman in Iran is somebody who's more religious, and it seems like this chadari woman was taking pictures of these girls protesting. I'm assuming this is what happened. Let's see it. And the girls are now retaliating by recording her back. So let's see what they say. So they're asking the chadari woman, like, why are you taking pictures of us? Like, excuse me, what are you taking pictures of? Look, they surrounded her. Oh my god, she got surrounded from the other side as well. The girls are asking her, what are you afraid of? Like, what are you afraid of? Why did you record the students? Okay, so the hijabi woman says, I know why I'm recording. So like basically it's my business. She's saying to the girls, you're not allowed. Oh my god. So the translation is kind of wrong. So the girl is saying, the translation says, you expect all of us to wear this long black chador, but she's saying kafan mishki, which means a black, what dead people So in Islam, people are not put in coffins when they die. They are put in like a white cloth.
Huh.
So she's referring to what she's wearing. It was called a kafan. So she's like, should we wear a black kafan like you? Like yeah, like you are.
That's
more
actually a
insulting.
funnione comeback than
Yeah.
what they have.
Like, do you expect us all to basically wear this like disgusting thing like you are? So if we don't wear it, so if we don't wear it, men are gonna be aroused. Would Islam be jeopardized if we're not wearing what you're wearing?
That's good. That's really good.
Oh, I haven't seen this video. This is pretty good. Like, it's good that you have no answer, but you're following. You have no answer, but you're just following us. So she's now retreating, but she was following them before they took out their own cameras. She was following them and recording them. Now she's retreating because they are recording her back.
And if the two younger women that were surrounding her earlier, if that's indicative of what the person is wearing that's filming this, like, it's not as if they're like not, in hijab. It's not as if they're not covered. Yes, a little bit of their hair was showing, but like, it's not like they're, just naked in the street or anything, right? So
yeah. No,
right,
it's just like, yeah.
It's
okay, yeah.
Yeah, a shroud.
Yeah, shroud. Yeah, it's just that they're pretty well covered according to other people's standards.
Yeah.
But for her standards, they might as well be naked.
Well,
yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't know, man, but have you seen that spot on a woman like just below the elbow? Ooh, it
hey,
gets
don't
me,
tell
man.
me that. I might actually get me. So don't use me as a measure. You're joking, but
just that, man. You would be surprised the amount of let's say adult categories related to this type of clothing that have been growing in the recent years.
All right. Okay. So you could hear in the background there's another people are chanting. So this is in the middle of protest. There's some school girls shouting tube tank fish, which is like gunpowder tank or whatever. Mullahs have to get the hell out. So yeah. So now hijabi one is saying you don't need to record me. Like, you recorded us, I will do the same. You recorded my friends. She said I didn't. She said like, oh, she said I didn't record you. She said you recorded my friends, not me. Like, it doesn't make it. She says it doesn't make a difference whether you recorded me or my friends. Like, the hijabi woman is saying, what's your goal? Okay, so you can see this is this outfit here, right? If you're in Iran, this is considered a liberal hijab, right? You can tell like this is a woman that is trying to that is obeying the laws as minimally as possible, right? So, and could, like, for example, Mahsa Amini was arrested for improper hijab, and she had more hijab than this one, right? For example, the reason why you can see that she has less hijab is like you can see her legs, right? You can see what you're wearing is supposed to cover. You shouldn't be able to see the shape of the legs, right? You can see, like, for example, hair showing. This is arrest worthy, based on Iranian law, right? Like, what is your goal? Like, why are you recording? And like, so she's the hijabi, like, what about you? What's your goal? And she's saying she has an answer. She's ready with answers. The girl is saying, we want justice for 15. No, this translation is wrong. Oh no, that's correct. That's correct. 1,500 death in the bloody November and the PS752 flight that was shot by RGC twice. So, in Aban protest was like November protests in Iran. I think 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 3 years ago, where 1,500 Iranian protesters were shot dead. So she's saying we want justice for that, and also the plane that the IRGC shot down with 2 missiles, a civilian passenger plane that was shut down by 2 missiles. Yeah, that's what she has answers ready. Yeah. Also, justice for Mahsa Amini and Hadith Najafi and Nika. Shalarami and Hamid. I wish I had the Persian version. It's easier to me to read the Persian version. And Hamid Esmailion. I have this Nika story. I'm going to share that story about what happened to her. These are a lot of women and men who died, victims of the protest of the regime who were killed. Actually, I mean, Hamid Ismailian, I think, is the father of one of the victims of the flight. But yeah.
حدیث نجفیم دادخواه اون نیکا چی بود؟ حامد اسماعیلیونی. شما دنبال چی؟
So that's what we're for. We're here for justice. What are you here for?
دیکتاتور یعنی چی؟ به من بگین دیکتاتور یعنی چی؟ ما 3 سال
What did she say? Dictator? What?
She said, do you know the definition of a dictator?
Oh yeah, okay. Do you have it? Do you know what the definition of a dictator?
یعنی چی؟ به من بگین دیکتاتور یعنی چی؟ ما 3 سال داریم درسشو میخونیم.
We are studying it for 3 years now. What grade are you? She's saying, what grade are you? I don't know why the hijabi woman is asking the girl what grade she is. The girl's like,
she's just the hijabi woman is just trying to take the conversation anywhere else because she does not have any good answers for this. Very intelligent and well-read individual.
The significance of this video is like these people are not used to this, right? Like when I was in Iran, when women like this came after girls, you retreat, you're scared, you fix your hijab, you are terrified, you are scared about what's going to happen. Oh my God, they took a picture. What's going to happen to me? Like they're going to come after me, right? So they're used to, the pro-regime people are used to being able to intimidate younger and more liberal kind of people, right? So the fact that she's this is a new reality for them, where these girls are like standing up and they're like coming for you, and you're supposed to be on the retreat. Like this is not normal for her, for these kind of people.
Honestly, I mean, it's a huge shift in a place where for a very long time people didn't really have a voice at all. Again, this is why, I mean, I'm happy. I'm seeing more and more of this. I just don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what the off ramp is, but
yeah.
Oh, it's fun because this woman filming is really good with her comebacks. She's got some snappy ones.
They have, like, this is also like, I don't know where these women are getting their training on a lot of these things, because when I was their age, we didn't have this kind of information. Like, for example, now they have like really a lot of them have really good comebacks. Like, for example, a lot of these girls, young girls, high school girls, they're recording stuff, and the other person is like, listen, you might not like this law, but it is the law, and you must obey the law. Every country has its own law, and this country's law is that you wear the hijab. And their comeback is like, what about slavery? That was the law, right? Do you think like? And also another comeback is like, wait a minute, you people did a revolution against the Shah, right? That was illegal.
That was the law. Yeah,
that was illegal.
Good point.
So, like, why are you supposed to you're not supposed to follow unjust laws. You're your ideology you taught us that we're supposed to stand up against unjust laws. That was the entire point of your revolution, of the Islamic Revolution 1979. So how come when you do it, it's okay, but when we do it, it's not okay? Yeah. So don't tell me it's the law that we have to follow it, even if we don't like it. Right?
That's a tough question to answer generally when you're in an authoritarian, kind of regime. Like,
yeah.
But, oh
exactly.
well.
Okay, let's see how this continues.
من دیپلمم گرفتم.
I graduated from high school.
باشه نگرفتم.
Like, no, you didn't. Like, she's like telling her you're uneducated.
باشه حالا هر چی. شما میدونید معنی دیکتاتور یعنی چی؟
She like, the girl goes back to her question. Do you know what a dictator is? And hijabi woman is like, no, I don't.
همون دیگه. دیکتاتور.
You should. It's like, and she's saying you should protest a dictator.
به هر نحوی که میدونی میتونی اعتراضات
hijabi woman is like, you enlighten me.
بیان کنی. شما روشن نمیشه اگه
like you won't get enlightened. You would have already wait, you would have already if you wanted to. Oh, this is an if, yeah.
شدیم که تا الان شده بودیم. شما ما رو روشن کنی.
Like you enlighten us. Well, I said, hijabi woman said, well, I said I don't know.
خب نمیدونی چرا دنبال بچه‌های ما رو
Like, well, if you don't know, why are you following us?
افتادیم؟ چرا این فیلم میگیری خب؟
Like, I live here, like, because it's around my house, so and why are you recording?
کجاست؟
I was recording my house. She's following girls. I'm recording them. Like, my house is there. I'm recording my house.
Come on. We know that's BS.
I'm just walking in. It was something new, so I recorded it.
چرا فیلم گرفتین؟
یه چیزی جدیدیه فیلمشو گرفتم. شما هیچ وقت فیلم نمیگیری؟
نه.
You don't record. No, we are not allowed to record minors, and if we do, it's with permission.
مبارچه از بچه‌های ما اجازه میگیریم اگه از کسی بخوام.
فیلم نمیگیری اصلا؟
خب شما گرفتین؟
Like, you're recording me right now. Like, yeah, but you recorded us, so I'm recording you.
منم گرفتم دیگه. شما گرفتین منم گرفتم. شما اجازه.
Like, she's saying you're recording me without permission. And like, well, you recorded us without permission.
You know what's really great is how it doesn't seem to matter ideology or ethnicity or birthplace. When somebody is caught, they go through the exact same tactic everywhere. It's like, oh, well, you can't record me. It's not fair. And it's like, well, you did that already. It's like, yeah, well, like, I mean, I don't know. You tell me, like, what's your problem? Like, oh no, I was just walking around, just the exact same excuses. Does not change. Yeah, I mean, that's basically, I would expect somebody in Tennessee to say stuff like that. Like, oh no, I was just recording my house, man. Why are you recording me? It's great. I love it.
گرفتین از بچه‌ها؟ منم اجازه نمیگیرم ازتون فیلم میگیرم.
اجازه نگیری اشکالی نداری.
بله میدونم.
اشکالی نداری که تو.
بله اگه اشکالی هم داشت من دیگه دارم میگیرم.
All right.
Wow.
Let's go to another one. Okay.
Yeah, that was great.
This is so this video, I haven't seen this one as well, right? So it says video from Tehran: police and plainclothes agents beat schoolgirls in the streets, right? So plainclothes agents are part of the IRGC. Part of the IRGC have 5 branches, and one of those are the Basijis, or what we refer to as plainclothes agents. Like, they wear like normal streetwear, right? Let's watch it. So these are the girls who are protesting in the street, and this is how the officials, I think this guy's an official. Usually they wear button shirts and they don't tuck it in. So and they have like stubble or beard. That's what, they're Basijis. So these are officials with clothing, like official clothing, and there's some, and this also this one, and these are the girls. Look. Oi! Just like shove them around like animals.
Crazy.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are more girls protesting, taking off their hijab and protesting. They're chanting "Death to Dictator." Death to Dictator, taking off their hijab, waving it in the air. All of this is illegal. These are all arrest worthy, right? And again, a lot of people like Mahsa Amini died for doing a lot less than this. And you hear the honks, they are people supporting them.
I saw one video not long ago where it was there was a couple of young women protesting, taking their hijabs off in the street, and a guy walked over to them and was criticizing them and correcting them, and like 4 or 5 other guys that were a part of the protests like ran over to him and were like, "Whoa, man, like back off,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
leave him alone." And that's amazing that it's just it has become, I mean, it has spread so much. And you had said this the other day. I don't know how that kind of culture of revolution comes out of this generation. I don't know how that disappears, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I don't know how they forget this kind of movement and this kind of feeling. So, again, even if this were to just completely all stop tomorrow, I don't think this is the end of it, because it's definitely become such a norm. I don't know how it goes away, so, which is good, I think. So
yeah, let me close a few tabs. Okay, this story, I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, but I want to read the full story today. And also there's more information that came out just a few hours ago, I think. So Masih Ali-Najad is saying in this caption, Islamic Republic of Iran killed her in protest over the murder of Mahsa Amini. So this girl, she came out in protest against the regime, in support of Mahsa Amini, against her killing. Her name is Nika Shakarami, I think, Shakarami, and she was killed as well. She was killed by having her head smashed. Her nose was fully smashed and her skull was broken. And also, I think this is, so I saw on BBC, this is verified. This is their official death note or whatever it's called. So you can see, it says Nika Shakarami here. That's her name. And it says the reason. So this is official government document, because they were denying the reason why she died. But now this, I don't know how they got this leaked, but it says the reason of death, صدمات متعدد ناشی از ثابت جسم سخت, like repetitive hitting to the head of something and of a hard object. So that is the reason, official reason of death. Like, so this little girl, look at her. She was 17. God damn it, 17-year-old. And she was like, so the way she died was also very brutal. Like, she multiple times hit in the head, and the body showed her skull broken, and her face was fully smashed in.
Jesus.
That's what the parents saw. And she went to the protest with riot gear, like anti tear gas equipment. So she was very much intentionally going into the protest, right? But look how innocent she looks here. Look at her, so cute. Anyways, this is just a little girl
Terrible.
yeah. So yeah. So she is now becoming another symbol for protest, just like Massa was. A lot of people, I think the innocence of the girls who die makes them such a source of rage for people, and that's why like Nika is becoming another Massa right now.
And the brutality of the response as well.
Yes, like
I think
the dichotomy of like how pure and innocent they look, and the brutality. You're right, and and the other side, the way that they are killed and the way they are treated, is just
obviously not saying it would be better if they were shittier people or anything. Of course not. It's still disgusting and horrific. But the fact that the people that have unfortunately been the victims of this terrible violence by the Iranian regime lately, these people are clearly decent people, right? I mean, even in that kind of grainy security video of Masa, like, she does not seem like she's a bad person. She seems like she's following with what they're saying. She's saying, hey, like what's wrong? Like, tell me what I'm doing, I'll fix it. Like it these people do not seem like they are just quote unquote puppets of the West trying to destabilize the government. They seem like genuine people, and they are met with such atrocity that it results in things like a fully smashed nose and a broken skull. And that's crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah. By the way, in the live chat, somebody's saying, who cares about these third world countries? Yeah,
I do.
No, I just wanted to highlight how disgusting people can be.
Yeah.
Right. Like, look at this is a person, like, ridiculous. You have a 17-year-old girl having her skull smashed in and beaten to death, and your reaction is, who cares about these terrible countries? You should know you're a horrible person. Like, I want to know. I know. Like, he continues doubling down. Like, I don't. All right, I know you don't, but also be aware that you're a horrible person. Just know that. Just know that you're a disgusting human being.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. What happens with this protest? What happens with how the international community allows a police force, a military, a government to respond to its own citizens will have ramifications for the world as a whole. And honestly, even if it fucking didn't, it doesn't matter, because they're people, right? I mean, am I just like so far off base on that? Like, they're people. Even if it doesn't have any fucking ramifications for us, they're still people, and they don't deserve that. But it will have ramifications, because other governments will watch this. This is the exact same thing going on with Putin right now in Ukraine. Who is watching that? Xi Jinping, the CCP, the military, the Tatmadaw, the military in Myanmar. Like, these groups are watching shit like this. And if the way that the international community responds to a child being brutalized to the point of skull fractures and death is, oh, we don't care, well, we're going to see this again repeatedly in other places, and we're going to watch more horrific things like this. Like,
well, I mean, even you don't really need to feel the ramifications on yourself. The fact that You don't have somebody doesn't have sympathy for a fellow human being.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is just the underlying just garbage that was being
look,
spewed.
he says, I don't need anyone's judgment from religious fuddy or anyone else. I don't care if you need it or not. I don't care if you need it or not. You're getting our judgment. And most people's judgment on someone like you is that you're a disgusting human being. Just know that they're not going to wait for you to allow them to judge you. You're a judge. Just know that based on most decent people's standards, most people's standards in this world, you're an evil motherfucker. You're gross. You're cringe. You're evil, right? Most people would agree with that. The fact that you don't have sympathy for a 17-year-old girl beaten to death because she lives in a third world country, that makes you, based on most definitions of evil, that makes you an evil human being. That makes you disgusting, right?
Yeah.
Just know that. Yeah. And we don't care that you don't want our judgment. You're getting our judgment as well. You're getting our judgment. You're disgusting. You're vile. You're vile.
Doesn't matter to me if you respond to this and say like, oh, I don't care what you guys think. Like, that's fine. You're just so you know, you double down on a pretty atrocious thought.
You're a person that doesn't care about a 17-year-old girl dying. That's the kind of person you are. And we are better than you. And most people are better than you. And we happy to be better than you. Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, crazy.
All right, it continues. Messi and Angela continues on the evening. So about this is her picture, right? Yeah. So Messi continues on the evening of September 20th. Nika called a friend on her way home and said she had joined the protest and burned her scarf. She never made it home. Her phone was turned off, and her WhatsApp, Telegram, and Instagram accounts were deactivated. She was missing for 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
for
crazy.
10 days after her death, the officials were not announcing to anybody where she is. Yeah. And then what happened to her, right? So it continues. Her family visited Kahrizak prison, where she was held 3 times without finding her. They put up a missing ad. So she went to prison first. That means that she wasn't beaten like this. She died probably in prison. Like, I don't know what they did to her in prison, right? On September 30th, her body was handed over to her family with a smashed nose and a broken skull. She was identified by a birthmark. So the fact that she was identified by a birthmark makes me think like her face was unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that is not being said here is that they only let the family see her face. They wouldn't like
let them see the rest. Really,
the rest. Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Messi continues. She was supposed to be buried in a cemetery in Khorramabad, but security forces kidnapped her body and buried her in Vaisan village, 22 miles away. She was, so they buried her without the family being there or anything. They're just like, oh yeah, she's buried. She was buried on her 17th birthday on October 3rd.
Wow. So she was just about to turn 17. She was just about to turn 17, and then she is murdered, disappeared for 10 days, and then buried someplace away from her family without their consent. Wow. That is just fucking terrible. Yeah. How do you support a regime that does something like that, you know? My God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here's the mother as defiant as her daughter. And let's see what the mother says in response to the killing of the daughter. She's saying to her daughter, "Today was your birthday, my love. Today I have to congratulate you becoming a martyr, Nika. Congratulations on becoming a martyr." Wow. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to watch. Man.
Yeah. And I think this is the final tweet on this by Messi, saying, Atesh Shakarami, Nika's aunt, who was tweeting about her death and invited people to attend the funeral, and Nico's uncle were arrested. So her aunt and uncle were arrested for telling people to come to her funeral, right? Also, it's not telling us here, but the family had said that they told that the government had told the family to come for a TV interview and tell people that Nico died for something unrelated to the protest, right? And if they had not come, the uncle and the aunt who are arrested will also be delivered to them in body bags. That was the government's response to the family who have just lost a daughter, right? Yeah.
Man.
Anyways, it's like the evil is just such.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just feel like you're dealing with cartoon villains or something.
I know, it really does. It just it feels like it's one of those things where it's like, well, they wouldn't do that because that would just be so blatantly horrible that any reasonable person would realize like how terrible that would be and like the horrific consequences of this and stuff. Like people would be very angry, and it just seems that they don't care. Like they just don't care. Gonna beat a 16-year-old girl to death. So, jeez.
Yeah, look, these are people are making images of her when she was singing.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, this is why this needs to, we can't let up the pressure international wise. Like we need to keep saying stuff, and we need to be, tweeting and messaging our senators and Congress people and so forth. I mean, this is not something that we should just let fizzle out. I don't know exactly what we can do from an international perspective other than just continuing to highlight and share the stories and stand with them. But I mean, if that's what we can do, then let's fucking do it.
Yeah. Good point. So something I'm going to do a little bit lighthearted because it's getting a little bit sad here. Right. So I don't know who this person is, but she made a review of Khamenei's Twitter account. So let's watch that. That's pretty kind of hilarious.
This is Ayatollah Khamenei, Supreme Leader of Iran. This is Ayatollah Khamenei, Supreme Leader of Iran's Twitter. Now, bear in mind, there's no internet in Iran right now. He turned it off. So who are you tweeting to, Ollie? The air? Your fans? Twitter's been blocked in Iran since 2009, lil bud. So who are these retweets? Huh?
Are you buying Twitter engagement?
Oh, it gets better. There's a Khamenei on Espanol.
No way.
Latin fans.
No way.
What's this for?
Hello, Senor Khamenei. I just love the way you publicly execute people. Please come to Mexico. It really speaks to me.
Like, who is this for? Who is reading you in Spanish? Who do you think you are, BTS? So please bear in mind, the riots in Iran are going very, very bad for Khamenei. Rioters have been able to overpower security forces on a number of occasions. But it's going so badly. He's trying to blame Mossad. Imagine getting your ass handed to you so hard by a bunch of 15-year-olds that you're trying to pin it on the Israeli government. I think my favorite part was his speech.
So the speech says, well, look at Europe and France. Massive riots occur every now and then on the streets of Paris.
Oh yes, those famous riots in Paris where they set ablaze images of Emmanuel Macron. Oh wait, that never happened! The last time riots looked like this in Paris, it did not end well. Senor Khamenei, do you hear the people sing? Singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again.
I did not know Khomeini was tweeting in Spanish, so that definitely was surprise trivia information for me.
Actually, Latin America is like a huge target for them. They're exporting mullahs there. Yeah, I had a debate on Clubhouse with Iranian mullah in Latin America.
Why is there such a push Is it just because they think it's good ground for Islam to grow, or
Yeah.
really?
They're very active in Africa and in South America.
Well, Africa, I could understand that a little bit more. There's a bit more of a history there, but
Well, they have history in Venezuela and in Argentina.
oh, really?
Yeah, they have a huge history there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, Gaijin American just celebrated his 10-month membership,
Woo.
saying, could it be people leaving Catholicism? I don't know. Yeah, I
There-
don't know what it is. Yeah.
There is definitely, I know, because on one of the other shows I do, we had a story about a growing, like evangelicalism kind of in Latin America area, whereas Catholicism was really big. So there are some Catholic numbers declining, but we are tending to see them go towards the evangelical Protestant Christianity stuff, it seems. So, not I don't know if that's really better or worse. It's hard to know. I mean, the Catholic Church is terrible, but also like evangelical Protestants aren't great. So,
Yeah. Oh wait. So, by the way, as we're speaking, there's a lot of women in Afghanistan that are fighting for the same thing. So, I'm gonna maybe show a video at the end to also highlight that, because there's a lot of crossover right now between Afghani women and Iranian women over the fact that they're fighting for the same kinds of freedom. Right, they're supporting each other. But here's an interesting video, because a lot of people, it's hard to figure out what the Iranian people, like the numbers of support each side has, right? Because I mean, there was a online poll that was like adjusted to make it as random as possible, and that seems to suggest, the biggest group in Iran want a secular democracy, right? But a lot of people try to figure this out based on videos, and the response, they judge based on videos like this to see what side is more powerful or louder or has the highest numbers. I know this is not accurate, but that's what people go by usually, right? So this video shows, like, a lot of people who are don't come to the streets or can't come to the streets or are trying to avoid getting arrested. They just open the windows and they shout, I don't know, death to dictator, or Zan Zindagi Azadi, which means woman, life, freedom, right? So here we have a pro-regime guy opening the window and trying to do his own chant by saying death to munafiq. And munafiq is an Islamic term here for people who are false Muslims or false believers, right? And in Iran, the pro-regime people have common the people who they don't like, or anti-regime people, they call them munafiqs.
how does that relate to kafir? What's the distinction between those?
Yeah, so you have kafir, you have a murtad, and you have munafiqs, right?
Okay.
So kafir is an unbeliever. Murtad is somebody who was a Muslim and left Islam.
Okay.
Munafiq is somebody who pretends to be a Muslim, but is not actually a Muslim.
Okay.
A pretend Muslim.
Yeah. Some slight differences between them, but all really important as to how you're going to. Interesting.
And many Muslims claim that munafiqs are worse than kafirs.
Oh yeah, that probably sows division in the ummah, right? I mean,
yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm catching on. I'm getting it. I'm gonna be a good Muslim.
It's translated for munafiq as like translated as hypocrites as well, right? Like that doubles. Yeah. Okay. They say something but they do something else, right? Yeah. So this video shows a pro-regime guy opening his window saying death to munafiq, and then getting a wave of responses by people saying death to Basijis, right? Just to show like other people shouting is like the numbers relative to this one guy. Yeah. So here. So that was like one person saying Magbar Munafiq, and the rest responded Magbar Khamenei. I mean, she's deaf to Khamenei, right? Khamenei. Okay, so it's switched.
Wow.
So again, that guy keeps saying death to Monafek, and now first they said death to Khamenei, and now they're saying death to Pastari, which means like IRGC member.
Wow.
Death to IRGC. Nagbar Sepahi. So they're overwhelming him. Now they're not stopping. Nagbar Sepahi, Nagbar Sepahi. Like all. So you see all these people shouting back at their windows, like they're way more in number. The people who are against this one guy coming out saying death to Monafek, and all these other people responding back and shouting that and outnumbering him, right?
That's
Overwhelming.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Sheikh is saying, imagine pro-regime guy coping. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
All right. Just like, let me just show you more badass girls just taking off their hijab. Azadi. So they're saying Azadi, 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 which means like freedom, 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 right? Wait, I have a... Yeah, this is what I want to show just so that we don't forget Afghanistan and their struggle, right?
Yeah.
So Masih Ali-Najjar is saying, our sisters from Afghanistan took to the streets to show solidarity with Iranian women's revolutions against gender apartheid regime, right? So it's very interesting because they themselves are dealing with the Taliban, but they still take the time to show solidarity with their Iranian neighbors, to show the women in Afghanistan, to show solidarity with the Iranian women. That's pretty beautiful.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I asked one of the women if I should blur her face. No, she said, the Taliban blurs our face. We want to take our visibility back. Wow. That is powerful.
Yeah.
Let me actually watch. That's crazy. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Just to be clear, that's gunshots, right? I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. It's just, yeah. My God, that's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Chat stuff right there. Yeah. Sergey saying, how would I help Iran besides just social media? Honestly, I don't think there is any other way right now. Do you think any way? You just have to keep attention to the story. Like, just
that's kind of what I think. Yeah.
Just share the stories. Use the hashtags.
If you live in a country where accessing your representative in government is something that's feasible or worthwhile of doing, I don't think, I do that. Send a letter or organize a campaign where you all get together and tweet at your senator or whatever whatever your representative is. But I think it's attention. Yeah. Just making sure that everybody is still remembering that this is happening. Because
also,
No,
you finish.
I was just saying it's the same worry that I had with Ukraine, is that what happens is we get excited about a world event for a week and then we stop caring about it. So
that's a good point. Yeah. One thing I think it would be helpful is to tweet at celebrities who haven't talked about the situation yet and ask them to please bring attention to this. Like, we have had already they have a lot of power. Like, when they tweet about this, like, it gets massive reaction. Like, so the ones that haven't, maybe like try to tag them and tell them to please say something.
K-pop fans. That's who you need to get. You need to get K-pop fans on board. They'll change the world.
True. Yeah. A lot of people have already, like Justin Bieber came out and tweeted about this. Who else? Kim Kardashian, I think, was one of them. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. There are a lot of celebrities that. So again, that makes a surprisingly huge difference because it just every time a celebrity starts tweeting about it, it makes or post a story on Instagram or whatever. It's just like it seems like it's dying, and they just bring it back somehow. Single-handedly, one of these celebrities brings it back to life. Like that's how massive their power is. Oh yeah, Rihanna has also did. It was Rihanna or Kim? I forgot who it was. I'm not good with celebrities, but I know they have massive power. So try to. And they notice. By the way, they notice you tweeting at them. Like they're obsessed with it. So if you think like, oh, my small account, they're not going to see my. Some of them, I mean, they're celebrities. They don't have anything else other than noticing, checking out their engagement, and looking at what people are saying about them.
They pay people to regularly watch the internet for anything, anywhere where their name is mentioned. So
exactly.
They'll see
it. Keep tagging them and beg them to talk about this. Yeah. Anyways, do you want to add anything or say anything? Ben?
No, I think you've done a fantastic job. And there are a couple of other videos you've done lately, Secular Jihadist, as well as with Apostate Prophet. And if anybody out there is wanting more information, those are some of the best places to go. You always do an amazing job of breaking this down. And again, I just think it's I'm upset that we aren't doing a better job in a lot of the secular atheist communities of highlighting this. Because
really?
I don't feel like it's been talked about as much as I think it should be. I don't think it's been as highlighted as big of an event as it is. And I just wish we had a few more big name people in our kind of non-religious space that stood up and said like, hey, this is a big deal, it'd be nice.
You would think that you would get that within the atheist community because this is like the largest religion-related protest.
Yeah.
I mean, ever?
Yeah,
ever.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Not right now, but ever.
Yeah. Pretty much. So.
Yeah. So what the hell? Like, why are like some big atheist YouTubers not even touching this?
Yeah, it would be amazing. And I mean, I'm not criticize. I'm not pointing fingers and saying any of the creators are bad or anything. No. And I'm just saying that it would be amazing, some of the really, really big names that are out there that have a lot of draw, on the size of Apostate Prophet, right? Like that subscribership. There are a lot of awesome people that could really bring some extra attention, and that would be great.
Yeah. So thank you for Apostate Prophet for actually covering this.
Absolutely.
Who do you have any people in mind that haven't covered this and you would like them to see cover this?
Yeah, I mean, I could think of people. It isn't exactly the forefront for some of them. I mean, for instance, and I've met the man, and he's just absolutely an incredible person. Seth Andrews is a huge following, right? Anytime, just like you were saying about celebrities, anytime there's somebody that has a huge following that talks about anything, it grows and it continues. And if we could get all of the, some of the biggest people out there in the atheist, secular, humanist type space, to do a whole story on this somehow, I mean, that would be awesome.
I should reach out to Seth Andrews. Maybe
give it a shot, man. And definitely, I mean, and just say, hey, like, it'd be great if I could come on and just, even just if it's a 15-minute thing. I saw that, I think, I'm probably going to say his name wrong, but Adam El-Masri, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's pretty awesome. He does a lot of really good stuff too. He's ex-Muslim, or he's ex-Christian, I think, from a Muslim country. I have to double check on that, but I know he talked about it. The Afro-Humanist talked about it. Great stuff. But yeah, it'd be great to see genetically modified skeptic and cosmic skeptic talk. It's not,
and rationality rules,
holy Kool-Aid, telltale. I know, though, in fairness, for all of those people, this isn't exactly their focus, right? This isn't exactly the vein.
Yeah, but they covered Sohail Arabi.
You're right. So, you're right. Yeah, and this that. Again, this is just definitely something that it would be great to highlight more. And again, no blame in the sense that saying that any one of these people are not highlighting this more on purpose. It's highly possible that they have all tweeted about it and posted on Facebook and stuff. Believe me, I am not very socially media active and stuff, so I miss a lot. But yeah, just the more attention that we can possibly get to this, the better it is. So
okay, so somebody asked a question in live chat that's unrelated, but I want to address it. By Osman Yaya Sheriff on Facebook says, my fellow atheists, I understand that many of you had a horrible childhood experience, which is pushing you guys to hate God because your belief that Allah could not protect you, you're then, oh my God, this is such bad English. So why now? Ha ha ha, so stupid, ... Atheists talk about rational thinking as if they have one. How rational can an atheist be until one tells them that it doesn't matter to fish who's the president?
I love that you've continued to keep reading it. Like, I thought it started becoming garbled nonsense a sentence or two ago. But I just want to point this. No, go ahead. No, finish up.
No, you go. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, I just want to point out, like, hold up. I understand that many of you have had a horrible childhood experience. When the fuck did I ever say that? Like, my childhood wasn't like a horrible experience. Not at all. Like, I guess, sure, I fell down and scraped my knee every so often when trying to ride bikes and stuff. But no, I didn't have a horrible childhood experience that drove me to hate God or any nonsense like that. Like,
wait,
wow,
fish
dude.
who's the I don't understand. Fish who's the president? What does that mean?
Doesn't matter to a fish. Oh, they're saying you've heard that whole thing. The creationists, like, oh, you're just a fish, monkey, frog hybrid thing. They're saying that we think all humans are just fish, and yeah, it's the same old nonsense about like, oh well, if evolution is real, then why do you love people? How do you explain love with evolution? And it's like, I don't think it's as complicated as you think, but then again, I did have a middle school biology class, so that explained most of it.
So until one tells them that it doesn't matter to a fish who's the president, doesn't even know what country it lives in, ha ha ha, when these atheists created all these different... Okay, I don't know what this guy is getting at. You're not doing a very good job at convincing us with this. Like coming up with your own version of our argument and then laughing at it and then saying atheists are stupid. Like, I don't know what's this going to achieve, but okay. Good job. Oh, Gaijin American just gave us $5 super chat, saying the Monkey King will protect me. He grew a new head after it got cut off. Can Jesus do that? Well, I mean, Jesus did resurrect after 3 days. Yeah. So there's that.
His head wasn't cut off. So we don't have any accounts from the time, any reliable eyewitness accounts that Jesus's head couldn't regrow. So I think it's reasonable.
Try it next when he comes back. Let's try it let's experiment when he's gonna come. Apparently, he's coming back, right? So let's.
Hey, Jesus, settle a bet for us.
Let's see, like, what happens to Jesus when you cut off his head?
Oh,
why not?
God. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be even a crime, given that we know he can't die? Why not do experiments on a demigod?
I think if we
for science,
if we had one, I mean, why wouldn't we? That would be my thought. But that could be the reason why we don't know of any demigods. See, Armin, they're here, they exist already. It's just they're scared that we'll do experiments and testing on them, so they don't show us their powers. That's the
Would it be a crime? Would it be a sin to crucify Jesus, knowing that he's going to get resurrected? Like, would that, like, if, like, the people who crucified Jesus, they didn't know that, like, he's going to come back and he's like God and whatever, right? But if they did know, and like, okay, well, I'm then fulfilling this thing that is supposed to happen, right? Would that be a sin then? Like, wouldn't that be like?
So the issue is, I think in that sense, the issue is whether or not you believe that God is really planning everything, right? Because in general, the way most Christians talk about what sin is it's missing the mark. Basically, God is the perfection when it comes to morality. And you try to be as good, but you don't exactly quite get there. But if God had planned everything out, right, and the plan was for these people to kill Jesus, knowing whether or not Jesus was the Son of God or divine, or whether they should, or coming back, none of that matters, because if they did something that was against God's will, that would be further away from his standard of morality, right? So it's this weird paradox where it's like it is bad, but it's also not bad because God's the standard of goodness and he's telling you to do this bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if the whole concept doesn't really work logically. I don't know, but yeah. Somebody ought to talk about that or something.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end the stream here. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. If you're watching this on Facebook, hop over to YouTube and subscribe to us over there. And hit the bell notification as well. And share the protest about what's happening in Iran. Please share it. Help so that this story doesn't die out. Because this is surprisingly continuing. The protests in Iran, they're supposed to die out within a week. Now we're going on 3 weeks now, and they're not dying out, right? Like, so, and people sharing them is one of the reasons why they're not dying out, right? Even if it doesn't topple the regime, it's putting so much pressure on them internationally for it to have an effect internally in Iran, right? So, yeah. So you could do something actually. Thank you so much for saying. Thanks, guys. Great show. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah. All right, guys. So, yeah. I don't know. I suck at like last words. I always feel like
you have to do the roundup of the shills and everything.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the newsletter. You get Armin's book for free. Sexy blasphemous art. What else is going on? Oh, the news is coming up.
Oh yeah, guys, subscribe to our newsletter. You get sexy blasphemous art. We have beautiful, gorgeous, juicy, sexy, blasphemous, the sexiest blasphemous art. We have like imams made sexy. We have Hindu goddesses made sexy. We have like Mother Mary sexy, like very sexy, explicitly sexy. Okay, so not safe for work, but it's available for you guys for free if you subscribe to our newsletter, which is the link in the description where it says get our blasphemous art for free. That's where you get it. It will be sent to you every week. Every week we make new blasphemous art and we'll send it to you for free. So make sure you get on our newsletter, link in the description. Anyways, I'm going to end it. Mwah.